what you're up to today, where you're tuning in on, what industry you're in. Hi, AP. You're on your phone at the airport in the terminal. That's right. You're going to a trade show. Good luck. Or wait, you're going to St. Louis. Can't remember what you're doing in St. Louis. Then you're going to Indy, I remember. And then you're going to a trade show. But anyway, I digress. Happy to have you here, AP. Let's get into some hot topics so we don't waste your time. So first of all, you all know I am working really hard to delegate, and I'm not producing this show, actually. Layla's producing this show, and she's in the background, and she's going to be producing shows for us next week, because little by little, trying to delegate, different video, all that is like delegated. The only thing that I need to delegate now is live streaming and getting someone to show up to produce the live streams for myself and for my clients. So next week I'm going on vacation, and I'm excited to say Layla will be producing some shows for our clients. So thank you, Layla, for all of your help. And Cherry Assistant. Layla is with Cherry Assistant. So I couldn't do what I do with Reviting without Cherry Assistant. Cherry Assistant helps me find people with the right skills, the right timelines, all the right things that I need when I need them. So right now they're trying to find me someone to help with app.reviting.com, aka high level white labeled, because I just have a backlog of landing pages we need to make. People want their lead magnets, and we're here to deliver some fancy lead magnets for you. But I just need to get some more help because I'm going to Florida with my family next week, and it's going to be great. This is a really good time for Reviting, but I have had a lot of luck delegating with Cherry Assistant. Big thanks to Cherry Assistant for being a partner of Winsday, sponsoring Winsday. I couldn't be more proud to work with them. DJ Kim, the founder of Cherry Assistant, he's just like he's also an official advisor, like literally has equity in my company. He has helped me so much in terms of figuring out how to scale Reviting. So you don't have to work that closely. Like, before they even opened Cherry Assistant, I was working with them with their previous company. They sponsored Winsday. And when they got acquired, they thanked Winsday for helping them get their first 100 users. So that was Dataghost. Now it's Cherry Assistant, and just having an excellent experience. I think you could have an excellent experience too if you are looking for virtual assistants around the world who can work with you in a way that is natural to you. It's not like working with someone on the other side of the world. Like, I've had an excellent experience. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Scan the QR code or email me at jessie@reviting.com, and I can send you my affiliate link to work with Cherry Assistant, and then also High Level. So Cherry Assistant, like I said, is helping me find a high level expert, because part of what we do is we white label High Level. And then, so I've got app.reviting.com. And so I've got my marketing and CRM solution, which is what High Level is. And then we have accounts for all of our clients. Then we can get in, build their automations, build their landing pages, but also we're High Level affiliates. So we help other people get signed up with High Level. And I would love to help you. So if you want to try 30 days free with High Level, use this QR code. Or if you're listening on podcast, just go to reviting.com/high level and get 30 days. If you email me at jessie@reviting.com, I will get you into a couple free days of my coaching program, because it's to my advantage to make sure that you understand High Level and that it works for you, because then you'll keep paying. And I get a 40% cut every month that you renew when you sign up on my affiliate link. But with that, I digress. Let's bring in our amazing guests. We are going to be talking about marketing, AI, affiliate marketing, and so much more. We love quality advisors. Yes, AP. But welcome to the show to Robin Emiliani and Kim Murray. Thank you so much for being here.
It's a pleasure to be here. Jessie, I want whatever you're having. Like, this energy is palpable. I want some of that, whatever that is.
Decaf coffee. I don't know. I did karaoke last night.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Actually, that's part of the reason I got rid of whiskey and Whiskey Wednesday is 2 years ago I stopped drinking. So I'm like, it just doesn't feel in alignment anymore, for multiple reasons. But anyway, I digress.
Love it.
Yes, got to keep the energy high when you're running a business, which I know both of you know a lot about. And we want to learn more about you. So in good old-fashioned Wednesday style, we want to pull up our 2-minute clock and ask you to tell us your full life story from birth to what brought you to now, and all the things in between on LinkedIn, because we can look you up on LinkedIn and see your resume. but like, what makes you a real human? What's your real story? So, Kim, could you kick us off?
Sure. Thanks for having me here today. I really appreciate it. My name is Kim Murray, and I'm the founder of Virality Boost. I was born in Korea, but I've lived in Florida for most of my life. I live in Orlando, Florida. I have a beautiful daughter, Madison Murray, and a wonderful husband. I've been working from home for a long time. um, for probably over 9 years. And I've worked between affiliate marketing and influencer marketing since 2014. It's something that I'm really, really passionate about. So when somebody is like, "Hey, tell me about yourself," that usually is what comes up is my work. But with that being said, I also love doing Kundalini yoga. I do that almost every day. I do lots of resistance training. I have a different diet every week. So it really depends on the week that I'm having. But at the end of the day, I just have a good time and I really enjoy working. I'm having so much fun figuring out AI. Anthropic is my go-to. Claude's my best friend. Not to say my other best friends, but my new best friend. And we've had a lot of success together, actually. So just excited to kick down doors and figure out new ways as the digital environment is changing so rapidly. I personally find it extremely exciting.
With a whole minute remaining, I'm always so impressed with people who can get it across so fast. Man, we just learned so much about you in 1 minute. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm with you. AI is amazing. I run my entire business on AI. I'm so grateful that I decided to like leave my job and start a business when I did, because it was like right when ChatGPT came out. And I was like, oh, okay. And it just changed things. And we're going to be getting into that a little bit. But before we do, Robin, we want to hear your full life story, and everything in between that we can't find on LinkedIn in 2 minutes. Could you please kick us off?
Yes, well, it's great to meet you all. My full life story actually is pretty spicy, but I'll stick to probably the most relevant things, starting with today. So I'm co-founder of Catalyst Marketing Agency, and we're a growth marketing company, and we lean very heavily into AI for our clients. And I started the business 9 years ago. We just had our 9th birthday. And with my business partner, Jem Swartz, my partner in crime, my dear, dear friend. And prior to that, I was client side. So being client side, I was hiring partners like me, and I was always frustrated with them, no matter how much due diligence I did on the companies. They didn't run fast enough. They weren't creative enough. And they certainly didn't care about the thing that I cared about most, which was impacting. Marketing should be impacting revenue. So being disappointed in them, I set out to become the partner that I never had, and was able to convince my friend Jem to do it alongside me. So, which is awesome. And I am a mom of 3 boys, 2 of which are in college. One is terrible 13. Middle school is horrible. If y'all don't remember, I'll be here to remind you of that. And yeah, so I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio, and then followed some boy to Denver, Colorado, and was really happy about that because I love Denver, Colorado, even though it's kind of wild and crazy here today. Lots of wind, and we don't know what's happening. I don't know, the apocalypse maybe. So get ready. But yeah, so great to meet you all. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. And I relate so much to your story as well, because I'm in Ohio for one, but I didn't start here. I grew up in Illinois, got my first job out of college in Indianapolis, then followed a boy all over the country, and now I'm here in Ohio. But yeah, let's get into our first topic. So CMO to CRO. This is a hot topic. It's controversial too. So let's get into all the hot parts about it, the evolving role. So I'm trying to remember. This is your topic, right, Robin?
Yes.
Okay, can you kick us off?
Yes. So this topic is very near and dear to my heart. Just as you can imagine, we work with a lot of CMOs, we work with a lot of marketing leaders. And one of the biggest shifts that we've seen is the tenure is so short, and the pressure on the marketers to be able to tie the marketing to revenue is greater than it's ever been. And I think there's been some frustration from the C-suite. And so there's a shift, and they've created this role of the chief revenue officer. And what we're finding is that there are two people going after this CRO role, one of which is the CMO. So the marketer is going after this role, and then head of sales. And even though in my business, I'm both marketing and sales, like I will always have an affinity for marketing, just because being client side and leading global marketing teams, like that is what's near and dear to my heart. But I truly believe they're the best equipped for the job. So in the CRO role, there's, a couple functions that roll up to that. So there's marketing, there's sales, and then there's customer success. So everything being tied to revenue. But marketers, given their depth and breadth of experience, I think are the most qualified. They really understand the customer journey from beginning to end. So they're able to think about that completely holistically. I think one of the other things too is marketers understanding tech stack. Like, I don't think marketers are given enough credit for knowing and understanding the tech stack that and all of the different types of tech that are required to be effective. You have everything from marketing automation to CRM to intent data platforms to Google Analytics, WordPress, like you name it. Like, we know and understand all of those systems and can be able to pull and aggregate data to make smart and better decisions. So to me, this is a huge opportunity for CMOs to really step up and take on even a bigger role in their organization.
Absolutely. Yes, 100%. I agree. And also, I think both roles are evolving regardless because of AI, like you said, in tech. Like, you have to be someone who can prompt the AI, whether you want to call me a CMO or a CRO. But part of me feels, and tell me what you think about this. Maybe this is me just like getting spicy, but I feel like we want to change the name CMO to CRO because too many women became CMO.
Ooh, we're going there, aren't we?
We're going there. I don't know.
That is an interesting take on that. You know what? Even though I'm a woman, I don't know that I agree with it. I think it's more about the evolving function of impacting revenue from a marketing standpoint. And and even bigger than that is, especially in business to business marketing, so B2B marketing, I think what's happening is it's less about leads, which was, a couple years ago, it was all about the MQL and the single.
Yes.
But today it's about buying committees. And so that is a complex approach to the business. And that requires multiple groups to be able to penetrate those different buying committees versus just going out and finding a single person who joins a webinar and we're like, great, and then jump on top of them and try to get them to convert. So it's about buying committees and people in different roles. So I don't know that it's necessarily about women. I think it's more about like the marketers being held and accountable for revenue.
I would have to agree with that.
I feel like that has always been the case. Marketing is always, yes, we were accountable for MQLs, which was so lame. But at the end of the day, it was because of revenue. And if the MQLs weren't bringing in revenue, then marketing was still held accountable.
Well, Jesse, you probably weren't alive when my early days in my career where marketing
talk to me about it.
Was very segmented. So there were marketing brand experts that sat in that space, and those people traditionally were not held accountable for revenue. But those are the initiators of the customer buying cycle, are the brand people, but those people did not have a number. They did not have a KPI, and their bonus sure wasn't tied to revenue. But the demand gen marketers absolutely were. So it was bifurcated back then, and now it's come together, and everyone is expected to be drawing the line to the impact of the business.
But do you think with the rise of AI, we need more of that brand and that human touch?
Oh, for sure. Oh, sister, you're scratching a surface. Yes. And I think one of the coolest things, and we'll talk more about this later when we lean into AI, is the evolution of something like SEO. And the fact that it's no longer just about SEO, but there's a thing called GEO, which is generative engine optimization. So we're writing for these AI tools. And then also there's AEO, which is all about answer engine optimization. So SEO, GEO, AEO, now we're creating and building websites so that machines are picking it up, and also AI chatbots are picking up and finding it understandable and then able to respond to the visitor of the website.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Such an interesting topic. Kim, I would love to hear your take on all of this CMO to CRO discussion.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting. My background started in affiliate marketing, and it's always been performance driven. There's been key challenges, and I had an agency, also have worked with agencies. The challenge from a performance marketing perspective, from a CMO and CRO, is that they would charge the agency with accountability for driving the revenue, but the brand or the CMO or digital director would end up making all the budgeting decisions. I think that it has been a major kind of like gap in between working with effectively with an agency. In affiliate marketing, it is used to be mostly lower funnel affiliate. Then, of course, influencer came in. Now it's editorial. So now you're talking performance PR, you're talking top of funnel, then you need bottom of funnel. How are you going to drive into retargeting? Then you have different divisions that have different budgets. So their social media is a budget, and their paid their SEO or their Google. But now all of that is just like coming together, and so the CMO is having to look at all of the budget, and then looking, from my experience, from enterprise, talking fashion, home goods, that type of thing, they really are looking more at year over year revenues, and then figuring out how do they generate revenue targets, look at each department and how they've been budgeted, and then figuring out who's kind of driving the momentum and then shifting budgets in real time. And that to me is a CRO role. The CMO role, they're kind of balancing the brand side and the awareness, and they still have a PR firm, and all of that is effective, but you do need somebody that is holding the line and being like, okay, but how are we going to hit our revenue target? Or what's our year over year? What budget do we have left over? Or that type of thing. That to me is a CRO role.
Yeah. Oh, so interesting. And another really controversial topic that comes up on here regarding this, I'll move on to the next one, we don't have to get into this, is who should marketing report to? Is it, like if there's no CMO and there's just a CRO and like a VP of marketing? And mind you, a lot of the people in the audience come from SaaS, a lot of startups. That's my background, is SaaS startups. So that's usually the debate is, do you have a CMO or do you have a CRO? And then,
I would go with a CRO personally. I think that Robin's 100% correct. That is the next generation, and the next generation is right now.
Yeah.
We're in the next generation.
Yeah, don't be afraid.
Yeah. They need to be a growth person, and they need to understand brand and probably have a personal brand themselves.
I think that probably any type of resistance there would be because of accountability. I think Robin mentioned that, but it's making the decision, holding your revenue targets, figuring out if you're on pace to hit them, whether you hit or you miss, and then being very real about the fact that, like, we fell short on traffic and I made these decisions. This is how I make it better. That's a CRO role. To me, a CMO role has traditionally been kind of like, how do I look right? and that's a whole different goal.
Oh my gosh.
Spicy, Kim.
I mean, because you can always play with the data to be like, I think that it actually came in this way according to the attribution data.
Right, exactly. But I think it's more exciting and it's more powerful have total accountability, right? And to understand, and
Agree.
because we are in a new frontier and you have AI and everything like that, you have to be trying a lot of different things, and you have to be probably more willing to be wrong than to be right. So then you can figure out how to get right, in this evolving
That's
space.
such a good point, because at the end of the day, it's like science, right? And in science, we set a hypothesis and we go test and we try not to like pick a side.
Yeah.
We create reliability. We talk about our limitations so we can be aware of these things. And that's really what we should be doing in marketing too. And some of them are going to fail. And then we have to recognize it and move on.
Right, and move on. But I find there was this quote, forgot who said it, but he said there's nothing scientific about science, because at the end of the day, when you're asking the question, you intuitively know the answer you're looking for. And
Mm,
to me in AI, like working with Claude, I'm not getting paid by Topic, by the way. But working with them, like I get his feedback, but I know the difference between what it is that I'm looking for and what I'm not, which makes it a very kind of intuitive dynamic right now that we're in.
absolutely. Well, Kim, let's pull you back up and keep going here on a different topic and switch gears to influencer content distribution. A
Yay!
new paid channel. Yes. Talk to us about this.
Okay. So I have been doing influencer marketing since 2014, and I have managed over 76 affiliate programs, from very large enterprise global fashion brands to emerging brands. Early on, a lot of the brands would say, hey, like, yeah, I don't really want to keep doing deals and offers. Like, how are you going to get new clients? And that really, in 2014, it was kind of like the bloggers kind of going into influencer, because Instagram was really starting to hit critical mass. And so I've since launched over 5,000 influencer campaigns, more than that. And the evolution of it was really from 2014. It was like, okay, for $400, I can get a blog post, I can get 2 rounds of social, I can get newsletter inclusion and banner ads, right? So I just like paste. And then it was $400, completely affordable. We usually ran 5-10 influencers. That, from the perspective of today, was organic, right? So the influencer had the audience, they had it on the blog, we could get organic reach on social, etc. They had newsletters, so that was usually dependable traffic. So you fast forward to today, and influencer marketing is a pay to play channel. And so it is, from my perspective, the most mismanaged channel I've ever seen. It's overcomplicated, and I position it as a paid media channel, but I really want to define that. I think a lot of brands believe that you have an influencer write a post, and then you kind of sit back and you kind of watch what happens. I work with influencers that would be considered micro influencers, general lifestyle, so under 200,000 in followers. But a lot of them, most of them, in fact, all of them, don't really have that much impact over their performance. So they have their audience that they've worked hard to develop. They have their unique voice. They have their positioning in the marketplace. But at the end of the day, you still have to pay to play. So I could get 25 influencers to post 25 organic posts, and I'll get no traffic. So the paid media really comes into the influencer posting, and then you have to really work in a complex environment, which is Meta platform, and you really have to focus on the boosting. So there's really 2 different skill sets, 3 that I would say for successful influencer marketing. And that's certainly working with the influencers, the creative part, and definitely on the ad operations part. We work with influencers as distributors, not as UGC. So UGC is going to be user-generated content. You say, hey, here's this pen. I want you to focus on the pen. I want you to, create content around it. I want you to post, put on your stories, put it into a reel, put it on your profile, use your Facebook account, maybe add Twitter, et cetera, et cetera. That's difficult. It's difficult to scale. It's difficult to control, and it's difficult to run large-scale influencer campaigns. So at this point, the way we look at influencer is really about influencer distribution, scalability, and driving action. So the main one is the traffic, qualified traffic, and then we calculate a CPA in an AOV, or unless it's a lead like a SaaS or something like that. We look at different other metrics, but we also do full funnel. So we're using influencers as distributors, right? So we run 10 influencers and they're going to have 10 different audience profiles. We can get as detailed as a zip code and target on a zip code level, regional level, national level. And then you run full funnel, meaning that if the brand is unknown, then we can work with editorials, and we have deals with editorials. Well, they'll write an article and then we'll have influencers distribute that content. So that's very effective in helping build trust and credibility. Or other content is kind of like, hey, product launches, or, check out the sale, all of that type of thing works. But the reason you want to approach influencer through influencer distribution is the top one is going to be cost. The second one is that you control your messaging and you control your creative assets, and it's highly structured and it's measurable. So at that point, we know what influencers are doing well and we know what influencers aren't doing well. And then if the brand's running a program with us, then we're able to pull out the influencers that don't do well, add ones that are in, and pretty soon they have a pool of influencers that are just blowing things up.
How incredible. So yeah, I have so many questions, but just based on my own experience, I do the TikTok seller stuff or TikTok shop stuff. I guess I'm a TikTok creator. So I'm the influencer. I have an audience of 13,000 on TikTok. And I love it because I get free stuff. Like this is the outfit I'm selling. Layla dropped the link earlier. Okay. This is from a different one, but that's not the one in the link in the video. But yeah, you were saying it's super hard to find, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I misheard you, find the influencers for those type of campaigns where you're selling the thing. It's also really hard to be the influencer on that side and scale those without putting ad money into it. It's not something organic.
Yes,
exactly. I'm not, unless I put ad money into it. I got lucky twice where one video from a year ago, randomly, that product just took off and I was one of the early videos on it. So, it's but still nothing more than $1,000 on one product. You're not going to get rich on that's lucky. Otherwise, everything is oh, I make it $10 from one outfit. And it becomes, I feel more of a branding thing for that. They're interested in the micro influencers. I guess I consider myself a micro influencer on TikTok. But I don't know, could you talk a little bit about that? What can creators do in these situations?
Yeah, it's a key challenge for them because you have a lot of starving creators. And at the end of the day, we don't work on TikTok. It's for very specific types of brands. It's algorithms are different. So I understand Meta and Instagram a lot better, and it's hugely scalable and predictable. And so the way that we run influencer, it's very, it's from revenue targets and trying to hit those goals. From a creator's perspective, their life is hard. And, the ones that are oh, this influencer made, blah, blah, blah money. And this one video blew up. It's probably one video out of her 10,000.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And it's that like kind of one-shot story. There are influencers, but then you're talking about more celebrity influencers, sports influencers. There's all sorts of different level of influencers. What we approach is the really everyday influencers, and what we're trying to solve for is it's harder and harder to get traffic, and it's harder and harder to get quality traffic, right? So those are the ones that we're really going after. But hey, I mean, I think they do it for fun on TikTok because they do get a lot of free stuff.
The free stuff. That's why I like it.
Yeah, and they have to, but they have to, well, the brand has to pay, obviously. And
right.
yeah, so, and I think that, that brands are still thinking that influencer is going to take off without putting budget behind it, which is what which I think maybe I might confuse people, but why I call it a paid media channel. You have to pay for the influencer and you have to pay for the budget, right? It's the two go together. It's no longer organic. And if you think it is, it's crickets. Also, a lot of brands just go for 1 or 2 influencers. They're running 3 influencer campaigns, which is understandable when they're being charged 1,000, 5,000 per post,
Wow.
and then the influencer puts a lot of effort and a lot of their heart into the creative and the content and all of that. But that's a different goal than driving performance.
Yeah.
And so, yes, it's beautiful, but then now you have to make it scalable. So and there's many different ways of doing that. Not, I mean, trust me, we have multiple ways of doing it. But really, at the end of the day, you want to run 10 influencers. We've run 50 influencer campaigns. We're trying to trigger an algorithm on Meta because it's sophisticated. And you're finding audience signals. So within 50 influencers, you would think for an outdoor company like the Top Hiker and the camping family did well, but they really didn't. You know what I'm saying? Like it was really more of like lifestyle everyday parents that are trying to just go on summer vacation type thing.
Yeah.
So virality is extremely important when it comes to it. And you have to test influencers, and you just have to keep testing and keep going.
Test.
Mm-hmm.
It's always such an interesting thing to hear, like the pricing, different influencers I hear or talk to, like pricing per post. I used to do content per post on LinkedIn, and then I'm like, this is not even worth it. I look like a walking billboard. But I digress because this has been a really great topic. Robin, I'm curious, have you worked with influencers?
We have, but more from a B2B standpoint, which I'd like to say I feel like are the OGs of influencer marketing because we call it thought leadership. And so pimping out subject matter experts from the B2B side of things, I'm going to go ahead and say we're going to take credit for that. Yeah, I mean, I think it's evolving in the B2B community as well. But yeah, I mean, Kim, you're certainly the expert on this. Super cool to see. But from a B2B standpoint, it's not just about gobs of content, but the quality of the content that we're pushing on their behalf.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I mean, I think it depends on what you're selling, right? So are you selling like something to a solopreneur, which is going to be like 1 out of 3 people? Now it's going to become 2 out of 3. So, I mean, there's a lot of B2B, I guess you could say, but just depends on kind of like what type of influencer would choose based on what type of price point, or what's are we trying to capture a lead, or are we trying to capture a lead to sale? And are we going to get measured on the lead to sale ratio or the CAC, that type of thing. Mm-hmm. That makes perfect sense.
Yes. Good stuff. Audience, we'd love to hear from you on influencer stuff. Do you like influencer content? Do you not like influencer? Can you tell? I mean, I know that people are supposed to be like labeling things to some degree, but I digress because we have a really important message from Cherry Assistant. So we'll be right back.
This is Mike, also known as Clean with Mike on Twitter. Mike hired a virtual assistant from Cherry Assistant about 2 years ago. Now he has a $50K per month business, fully managed by a remote operator, in South Africa. His VA from South Africa does the following: closing inbound leads on the phone, Yelp and Google and Facebook, manages his CRM on Gulf High Level, deals with rescheduling, cancellations, any issues, hires and manages the cleaners, and sends them daily reports and updates. Mike has a fully cash flowing business managed by a remote operator for only $8 an hour. You can also hire a US equivalent worker in the Philippines, South Africa, Latin America for a fraction of the cost with Cherry Assistant. Be like Mike and grow your business with offshore staff.
So Cherry Assistant does a lot of things. This is a menu of some of the stuff they have: lead generation, CRM management, prospecting assistant, sales presentation preparation, data entry and cleanup, customer support, project management and assistance, and so much more. If you're watching on live, just scan that QR code. Again, if you're on podcast, email me at jessie@reveting.com and I will get you my affiliate link to work with Cherry Assistant. I've had nothing but a great experience. But also, I want to tell the audience a little bit. I'm curious, have either of you heard of High Level or worked with High Level at all?
Mm-mm.
No. I asked because it's a marketing agency platform. So it's like some of the big, I don't like to name the competitors, but you can probably imagine them. You know, a lot of the B2B companies I used to work for would spend like $20,000, $30,000 a year on them, like CRM, marketing automation platforms that, you know, you can build landing pages on and set up your emails and all your funnels. So High Level is basically that. And then when you sign up, like say for their entry level tier, it's $97 a month. And you get your CRM and marketing automation platform, which is what I did. It was my everything tool when I first started my business. I got High Level. And so I used it before I approached them about working with them because I loved it. And that's how I like to work with people. But I started off with them. I had my account and then I got 2 accounts for 2 clients. So then when I made an offer to someone like, hey, we can do social media posting for you, then we'd not only come in with like a social media scheduler that I can like white label and call my own app.reveting.com, but then also it has CRM because they didn't have that. You know, it was a consultant. They had some other things they needed. And then another client that I was using the same thing. Now I have like over 10 clients in my app.reveting.com and we do full service. Like we've got a support team who are helping people build. Then we've got services where we'll just build for you. So it's like, I didn't build the technology, but I use the technology for my business. But then some people are just using High Level to use High Level for themselves. So that's my spiel on High Level. Definitely check it out. We've got a QR code we can throw up on the screen here. If you're listening on podcast, just go to reveting.com/high level and try out 30 days free. I want to definitely, we don't want to cover up anyone's face. So I'll change it there. We're still covering up faces. I guess I'm losing my touch here. Here we go. Yes, anyway, I digress on High Level. Let's get into our next hot topic, which is AI and marketing. My newsletter this morning was all about AI and marketing. There was a MarTech article about the shift in AI or shift in marketing due to AI. Like everything's changing. Search is changing. And also like certain things are ending, like the end of SDRs and like how in like sales marketing roles are going to evolve. And it's going to become that person who can write the best prompt as opposed to, you know, what we've seen in the past. But Robin, I'm really curious to hear where you take us on this topic, AI and marketing, exciting opportunities and challenges. Could you kick us off?
Yes, I would love to. This is my absolute most favorite topic in the world, other than maybe March Madness, which is kicking off in one day. And I'll start it off with a story. So my partner, Jem, and I just recently got back from the AI conference called HumanX, which was last week in Las Vegas. And it was the first time they've ever done this conference. And so Jem and I were a little worried we were going to show up and it was going to be kind of like the Fire Festival, like it would not be legitimate and people wouldn't be there and it wouldn't be a thing. But when we left, both of us separately said it was the best conference we had both been to in our lifetime, which is such a huge statement given we've been to literally hundreds of conferences over the decades. And what was super interesting about HumanX was it was all walks of life. So there were developers, there were startup companies, there were very established enterprise companies like AWS and Google Cloud. There were investors and VCs, and the energy was palpable. Like, it was the thirst for people to learn. And the two biggest takeaways I got from it, number one, were the tools, like the sharing of tools and the recommendation of the different tools to use for different tasks was, I mean, I couldn't type fast enough. Like, we were running from session to session to session to learn as much as we possibly could. Because at Catalyst, at our company, our team is adept at using AI, and we have a deep tech stack that we're all leveraging for various functions of each of our roles here. But it was just cool to hear some more, and well, not some more, like a lot more, and then try to figure out where are we weaving this into our tech stack, because our clients are really overwhelmed, and they're like, we know we need to be using AI, and we're using Gemini, we're using Claude, we're using Perplexity, but what are the other tools that we should be using that's going to benefit me and my role, and then benefit my business as well? So got a lot of great tips. And one of my most favorite quotes that happened during this conference was a woman she's head of media for a company, I believe, called Command. And she said that AI is not replacing marketers, but it's giving them superpowers. And I was like, yes, that is exactly what's happening. Like, the capabilities we now have, and now that we can bring all these thought partners into the mix, it's making us faster. We're able to personalize more. We have more predictive analytics. And then we have everything at our fingertips that we can create. So to me, this is like probably one of the most exciting times that we will all experience. And somebody likened it to, in the next 10 years, we will have more progress than we will have in the last 1,000 years.
Oh, wow.
So buckle up, people. Like, this is like, just really embrace this time and just see it as not an opportunity. And whether you're a creative or a copywriter, like, just lean into it and know that it's only going to make you better at your job. Be aware of the parameters around that, but like, we can't be afraid, and we need to just charge into the future. I mean, at this conference, there were robots roaming around us. Like, I literally felt like I had stepped forward 100 years at this conference. It was just super.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. I love what you said too about how just pay attention and get involved, because things are changing. And like, what did you say? How fast things are progressing? Like, we're going to have as much like progress in like
the next 10 years than we've had in the last 1,000 years.
Mhm.
That is so amazing to think about. And the article that I pulled it up that I was writing about in the referencing in the newsletter this morning, I'll put it in the LinkedIn chat. But basically, it was saying some of the marketing functions that are going to disappear because of AI are demand generation as we know it, B2B influencer marketing, SEO and content, outbound performance marketing, SDR, BDRs, early stage discovery demos, solution selling, customer success. Like, this is a lot. And they're saying by 2028, which these are all the GTM sub-disciplines that will disappear. This is martech.org. And it's all due to the rise of the AI-driven buyer. What are both of your thoughts on this? Kim, what's your take on all of this AI stuff?
Well, I think it's an opportunity to be extremely innovative. I've been playing around with this calculator for affiliate marketing to help brands understand how to budget and then budget pacing. And it's kind of complicated, but it's not once you understand it. And then I thought, okay, well, I'm going to have to pay this developer, like, I don't know, probably $5,000 or $6,000, $10,000 to do it. I tried to have Claude do it 4 months ago, and it was struggling. I had it do it 2 days ago, and it nailed it. And I mean, nailed it. Then it gave me an entire list on the implementation of it, like how I'm going to pull the data. Like it gave me the plan. So now when I talk to developers or I'm wanting to create something, I understand what I need rather than, having somebody put me into some kind of rabbit hole $50,000 later, or, whatever the number is. I know the Anthropic's founder, he has a YouTube interview, and this was 3 months ago. And he said we're at 50% of hitting like 50% hitting the right amount or being right in their coding. And he said within 6 months or less, it's going to be 90% of being right in their coding. So now when you have an idea and you're like, hey, like, what if I were to create an app where every time my daughter eye rolls me, what a great mom I am. and then I have an app and I'm like, ding, ding, ding. It'd be hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
There's so many things that you can do. And I think that, as we all three sit here and talk about all of our disciplines, I mean, there's so many ways that we know that we can deliver even better for our clients, right? And so maybe some cost prohibitive, maybe like scalability and training people, like that's pretty much all gone. Now it's kind of like, what can't I do? And so I think I'm equally as excited.
Yeah, I agree. And it's challenging, I think, from like a marketing agency perspective too, because I think we're able to do things much more budget friendly than marketing agencies used to be able to do. And like companies recognize that. And they aren't willing to pay, I was a CMO for a while. I remember like the freaking price tags on some of these things, like getting a website back in the day, $20,000, like, basic websites. Like, okay, now AI can make a website for me in a couple minutes, and then we'll just edit it and it'll be better because we know our business better anyway.
Yeah. That's a key challenge. I hired somebody to do something for me. He was charging me the full hourly rate and I replicated it in Claude. He did it within like 2 minutes, but he was charging me the full hourly rate. And I had this internal conflict, you know what I mean? Like, did I get value? I did because he answered a question because I didn't know how to ask it, I guess. But at the end of the day, my bill really should have been a third of what it was, which is like for, just so you know, for our influencer campaigns, we don't charge for creatives and copy because of exactly what we're talking about, right? That's not really the value that that we're delivering. It's valuable from the perspective that we give it, but it takes like hardly any time. There is a cost to it, but at the end of the day, I'm not like, okay, well, it's $5,000 just for the design. You know what I mean? And it takes us like, I don't know, 30 minutes or something.
Yeah, definitely. Such an interesting topic. Well, we only have 9 minutes left. I want to make sure we get to our last topic of affiliate marketing.
Oh,
affiliate marketing. So, Kim, I think this is your topic. Would you like to kick us off on it?
Sure. Affiliate marketing, from my experience, like I said, I've managed 76 different affiliate programs. It's been with a lot of global brands, enterprise, mostly B2C companies, into emerging. And the success in affiliate marketing is always been about momentum, right? So getting top placements on homepage of Capital One Shopping and getting newsletters and kind of like running this formula each month. But then, of course, editorials came in. So, they work on a flat fee plus commission. Then you had, you still have lower funnel. Then you have buy now, pay laters. Like it's the entire shopping journey is within affiliate marketing. So what became a key challenge from a client's perspective was how do they properly budget for affiliate, because you're working on a commission perspective, and then how do they pace their budget, and then how do they build predictable year-over-year revenue targets, and then how do they now get traffic? Because a lot of affiliate was mostly getting traffic through Google, which is usually mid funnel. So now they've got editorial, influencer, deal, cashback, loyalty, that type of thing. So really my specialty in affiliate has been about building revenue targets using traffic numbers, average order values, conversion rates, looking at historical, and then basically building out a budget pacing sheet and also a budget planning sheet. Because if affiliate is driving a lot of momentum, and a lot of brands will take money out of different divisions and invest it into affiliate. But in order to play affiliate game, it's not commission only. It is definitely it's a paid channel, right? So you have to have a flat fee budget in order to help you drive the traffic. And you also have to have a commission level in order for a brand to properly digest those metrics. They have to plan for what their year-over-year target is, then back into their budget, and then convert that into what it would look like as a cost per sale, a CPC, a percentage of revenue, that type of thing. And then they build out these budgeting sheets. So then on the daily and weekly, they see how they're pacing towards their goal. If they're pacing ahead of their goal, they're good, or they can invest more money. They're pacing behind their goal, then we need to do the brand obviously needs to take action to hit their revenue targets. This is really where influencer comes in, because influencer comes in quickly with the paid part I was talking to you about, comes in quickly to help close the gap, right? So we could have 10,000 in traffic in 3 days if we, it just depends on budget, like however much budget you have. So I've really taken influencer and kind of was built on the backbone of what I had learned from affiliate and pacing and things like that. And then trying to close the gap. It's always about the traffic, right? That's the more predictable number. But at the end of the day, when you look at your monthly, it's either going to be the conversion rate, the average order value, or the traffic number that is going to like kind of go up and down. But that's basically how I approach affiliate marketing.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. I can see how like affiliate marketing, of course, and influencer marketing kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah.
But Robin, have you done much with affiliate marketing? What's your take on all of this?
Yeah, personally, I haven't. Although we have deep expertise in partner marketing, which is comparable, but like its own beast. And you really have to have marketers that specialize in something like that because of the complexity around that and the nuance between partners and then the brand or the association that they're working with.
How would you differentiate that between partner and affiliate, Robin?
Yeah, it's another revenue stream for the company to sell through partners, which is, like I said, complex because it's, every partner is unique and has a specific offering that they're pushing out to to their consumers, to their prospects, to their buyers. Mm-hmm. I think similar, and affiliate does the same thing. Back in the day, my ex-husband worked for one of the first affiliate marketing companies, and one of his clients was Martha Stewart, back when she had that whole Home Goods and all of that. So it was fascinating to watch, how she really exploded her business because of affiliate marketing, and how she built her brand that way.
Well, I know affiliate and partner marketing is used interchangeably, right? So, I mean, I always, because I'm old school, but without the old, but I'm old, I'm part of the, back in 2014, it was just a different game, 2012. But now I think that affiliate is partner marketing. It's really about, do they have an existing audience that makes sense for that brand, or do they have a way of generating traffic, targeted traffic, in order to deliver the action?
Right. Or in my world, it's more industry. Which industry are you going after with that particular partner? Because that's often where they specialize, is a specific industry that they're tackling.
Do you work with a lot of associations as partner marketers?
Yeah, sometimes it just it depends. But yeah, the answer is yes.
Yeah, that would make sense. Awesome.
We're running short on time and we need to make sure we hear of your guru of the week. So, guru of the week is someone that you suggest people go follow on LinkedIn to diversify their content and get inspired, because we were just inspired by you. So, who inspires you? The guru of the week. Okay, here we go. Pull myself out. Tell us all about.
Robin, you want to go first?
Yes. So Bethany Fiveson. So she is head of marketing over at People. And Bethany actually was a client of ours years ago when she worked for a company called Fastly. Bethany, her background is she came from agency side, but you'll find she's extraordinarily intelligent and knows all things marketing. She's a true strategist, but is willing to roll up her sleeves and get the work done. So she's impressive and has impacted corporations in a huge way.
Awesome. Well, mine's Michael McNerney, and he runs Martech Record, and I think he started during the pandemic. He provides industry news. It's been focused in affiliate, but like we said, affiliate's really grown from top funnel, bottom funnel, including performance PR. He posts job openings. He provides kind of like what's the latest changes that Google is making that's affecting everybody. He talks about affiliate news, and his emails are highly entertaining. And he also gives a drink recipe in some of his emails. So
more importantly, yes.
How cool is that? Well, we had a really great comment from DJ Kim. He's with Cherry Assistant. I was talking about him earlier. He says, sounds like we need to chat with Kim. We've been driving the majority of Cherry Assistant revenue with affiliates, but could be optimized. Every company, B2B or B2C, needs a good affiliate system. Mm-hmm. Question for Kim. What's the best software to manage an affiliate program? What's the best software?
So there's two parts of management. There's going to be the setting up the revenue target, and then your budgets, and then how much traffic in order to reach the goals. And then the second part is going to be the execution. And then, obviously bringing in influencer, because I have to plug that in because it's just the best way to really target. But I think that I would definitely start with the year-over-year goals that you're trying to run, how much flat fees, what your percentage payouts are, and then what your targets are going to be. And then you kind of back into what your execution is. Then you look at your daily, results in traffic and revenue or signups. And then you find the affiliates that are going to be best. And then you just start running placements. I mean, I think that you should be running 10 to 20 top placements every single month. Like, you can't miss it, because if we're driving demand, let's say from Instagram and Facebook, they're going into all of these different shopping journeys, right? So you want to be at everywhere that user is going to be.
Oh, such a great question, DJ, and thank you for answering it. But I know we have to go, and maybe DJ and Kim, you guys can follow up post-show, because could we just give you both a quick second to let the viewers know how they could reach out to you if they wanted to work with you after the show? Go ahead, Kim. Oh, no, I accidentally, you got muted. Oh. So let's start that over. Go ahead, Kim.
You can reach me at kim@viralityboost.com. You can go to viralityboost.com. You can also reach me on LinkedIn. I think, I don't know if I'm tagged, or you can just email me is probably the best way. My LinkedIn is Kim Adolph, because it was my maiden name. But if you look for Kim Murray Virality Boost, you'll definitely find me.
Awesome. And same for you, Robin. Could you please let people know how they could reach you after the show?
Yes, just shoot me an email at Robin, ROBIN, @catalystmarketing.io. And like Kim, you can find me on LinkedIn under Robin Emiliani.
Thank you both so much for your time. I know we're 3 minutes over and we could probably talk for another hour, but this has been a really awesome episode. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Until next week when we bring on some more amazing guests. We got Robert Wise and Justin Lund next week. But thank you, Robin and Kim. This has been a really great episode. I'm going to go ahead and close us out with our video. Bye, everyone.